there's so many things to talk about. As I'm driving over, so like, oh, where do I even start? And I said, well, Kay will remember if we've talked about it. Did we talk about beginnings in scenes?
No. We have a few clips up online about beginnings of scenes, but they're all in the like 1 minute territory of, little clips. But no, we've never discussed beginnings of scenes.
Because we're doing this a bit more regularly now, that we could kind of start, instead of talking just business, because it's starting to get there's a lot to talk about business, but we have John Moan, the executive producer of King Richard coming.
And Emancipation.
And 30 other. We'll have a list for that. And also he's one of the top producers at Westbrook.
Right.
So we'll talk business with him a little bit more. So I thought we should get more into craft.
I love talking about craft.
And things that I know are profoundly misunderstood.
Yeah.
And people think they understand it.
Oh, I think they do. I think that's what's so difficult is really getting precise in your understanding of this very concept of, a moment before
and you
beginnings
have such
of scenes.
Great understanding of it. And so does Mark.
Yeah.
I hope you get a shot of you in this, Mark, too.
Yeah. We're working on getting another camera to...
Like
Do
a
I have
GoPro
to
or
buy
something?
you a camera, too?
Yeah.
I bought him a motherfucking printer.
How's the printer working, by the way? Does it
Printer's
work?
great, yeah.
It's a good
Printer's
printer,
amazing,
right? Because printers are generally messed up.
Yeah.
They
Great
break all the
printer.
time.
It's wild that the fact that you guys got it for us, thank you so much. But then the next week, everybody needed a printer after going years of no one asking for one. So we're good there. But I want to what we're looking at is doing a camera that flips up off of this desk, and then that way we don't.
Oh, that's great.
Because we don't have to relight everything either. We want it to look clean versus just my picture popping up. But
nice, because I really want to get you in on this stuff, because what you have, Mark is such a brilliant artist on so many different things, a writer, an actor, a director, and to not be able to have you discuss these things, because he understands these on a functional level, doing it, maybe not teaching it, but doing it. And it's just great to have your input.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I thought if we start with beginnings and start moving into other things,
let's start at
as
the very beginning.
Weeks go, we'll start to get the whole concept of scenes.
I'm so tempted to start singing Sound of Music right now.
Edelweiss. Oh, no, wrong. I'm sorry.
Very good place to start. When you sing, you begin with
ABC?
No, do, re, mi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's right. When you spell, you begin with ABC. Sorry. I did. I messed that up. That was my bad. When you spell, you begin with
do, re, mi.
We're so messed up right now. Oh, yeah. There we go. And when you sing, you begin with do, re, mi.
People say I'm funny. I don't know why. I don't think I did Edelweiss. You see that? That was another song.
You didn't know what I was talking about.
The hills are alive.
See,
with
people
the
think that we
sound
read
of
each other's minds. We don't.
So beginnings. Since every scene, when they say action, that's the beginning. That's the way it works, unless, some exception to the rule shit's happening. Everything starts with beginnings.
Right.
Generally starts with action. And then they could cut it, edit in, do whatever they want. So when you actually see it, it's very difficult for most people to remember, especially people who just don't work all the time, that they have to take it into the editing room. It is completely, what's the word? Not processed. It's completely
manipulated.
Manipulated.
Yes,
that's the word.
I know. What's the thing? Film is a plastic medium.
Yes.
That means that it can be shaped to whatever you desire it to be. It's
and most
manipulated.
people don't understand how profoundly it's manipulated. Mm-hmm. That what you're doing during production is raw material. It's only in post-production. Mm-hmm. Post-production means after you shoot.
Right.
Production is shooting, when you actually shoot the film with cameras. Pre-production is when you actually develop the script, get all the lights and hire all the people and the locations and everything.
You make a plan
That's
for
right.
production.
Everything necessary.
Right. And so
for
sometimes
production.
pre-production can last 3 years.
Can.
And sometimes it lasts 3 weeks. It just depends on the budget and the process.
That's right. And for those of you who, of course, know this, I'm sorry, but a lot of people don't know this, so you have to understand. 3 major parts: pre-production, production, and post-production. So we're dealing with now production for the actors,
Right.
where they're actually shooting the film. You actually have done your process, your work, and that's what we're doing your process and work so that you can take it into the shooting of the screenplay and do these takes so that in post-production, the director and the editor can create your performance.
Yeah.
That's very confusing. It sounded simple what I just said.
But I think that's why, when we talk about the differences between theater and film, it's the performance happens in front of the audience in theater, but in film, there is no performance. There
None at
is
all.
no performance.
None
and
at
so
all.
when people will say that person's performance, it's essentially a misunderstanding of what the editing process does.
A profound
yes.
misunderstanding.
I know.
That
Because the editor may take a moment that you weren't even aware of that was even being filmed. It could be B-roll. It could be all kinds of different.
no one knows what B-roll is. Is that like ABC? Is that do-re-mi? What's B-roll? I don't know. Maybe Mark can help us. You can take B-roll? I don't know what the fuck B-roll is. Mark, help us. What's B-roll?
B-roll is other footage, maybe of the atmosphere or the community shots or just things that aren't, I guess, the.
He doesn't know either.
Within the
He
scene.
doesn't know either.
Well, no,
Well,
it's-
generally speaking, it's shot by the second unit a lot of times. B-roll is.
So
And-
B-roll is not necessarily if they run 3 cameras simultaneously.
No.
Then it's just
Then it's just footage. That's footage.
ABC,
Yeah.
which is what they do. See, it gets
Yeah,
confusing.
we have ABC here.
Right, that's right. But B-roll sometimes sounds like ABC. That's why I
Yeah.
wanted to clarify.
You're right.
Because I'm on set so much, I see like they do ABC. They have 3 clickers. Clickers, I'm sorry, they call them not
Sticks.
Sticks or
Yeah, sticks.
What are they called?
They're called
Is it a
sticks.
stick? Or-
Sticks.
Clapper.
Clapper.
Clapboard.
The
Yeah.
clapper.
And then the woman or the man who says like, B camera, and they
Yes.
do the clicks so they sync the sound.
right.
See, now we're really getting into what really goes on.
I know.
This is
But
what
an actor
really
really
goes on.
has no part in this, meaning that they're just waiting until action. They don't.
But they're not just waiting. That's
Right,
great
right.
that you said that. That's what everyone thinks.
Yes.
Well, I'm just waiting until they say action. And when they say action, you go, and you say the line immediately.
Right.
You see that.
Everybody. I know.
All the time
All the
they say
time.
the line immediately. It's like, action.
Action.
Ah!
Go.
It's like, off to the races. Dun, 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 dun.
Acting.
Act. It's time to act. Don't leave any space between the clapboard, the sticks.
Yeah, they said action. So what's
Action.
the first
Go,
thing?
go,
Right.
go, 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 go.
I know.
Adrenaline.
I know.
The opposite.
I know.
You should be. It's so the opposite. Having done theater and having done everything else, theater you get a gigantic shot of adrenaline. Lights
Yeah.
come up. Wow.
Because there's no cut. So therefore, whatever happens, you got to roll
Right.
with. Your scene partner, whoever's on stage with you, forgot their lines. Okay, so what you gonna do? You want to improvise something? Should we find our way back to where
Lights.
you messed up?
Lights actually accidentally go off.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You're talking in the dark.
I saw a production of Top Dog Underdog in Minneapolis. It was a great production. And it's 2 guys, they're brothers, and in the
One
script,
of my favorite scripts.
yeah, it's a great script. And they're eating chicken in the scene. They're like eating dinner. And for some reason, there were a ton of flies on stage, like real flies. I don't know if they just like put it in the wrong area and so it attracted a lot of these flies. So then there's just flies flying around the actors' faces and heads. And at some point in time, one of them just went, got him. And the whole audience went crazy because to not call that out, and there was no way to cut. They couldn't get rid of the flies. They had to keep going.
All great.
They had to keep going.
All great actors
Stay present,
in the moment,
no matter the medium.
no matter the medium.
Right.
All great lovers stay present in the
Okay. Oh, I
moment.
didn't know we were going there.
Who needs to be present, right?
Right, of course.
We don't need to be present. We can cut. Mark's going to fuck shit up. You know that. And then he's going to have to fix it, you know?
That's what we do.
Oh,
So-
we don't even know the things that Mark is hiding from
I
you
know.
all.
I know. So who knows? We don't have to be present. That's the lovely thing about what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We can relax.
It's better that we're present, though,
All life is better
in the present.
when you're present.
I know.
Because if you want to think about something for the future, then you should do it in the present.
Yeah, to change your future.
Yeah, you sound like, oh my God. Oh my God. I've had too much coffee. 6 cups of coffee. Oh my God. I feel high. I feel something. I don't know.
I'm having an anxiety attack.
Yes.
My heart actually
Let me
feels.
think about this in the present. Mark and Kay said in the present that you shouldn't do 6 cups of coffee. Okay. I know what to do in the future by being in the present. How's that?
Yes.
That was pretty much
Spot on.
connected, right?
Yeah. So then, if our job is not just to wait until they say action, just wait, then what's the actor's job?
You asking me? I don't know. Shouldn't Mark and you know, I'm not an actor.
You want to talk about beginnings of scenes?
Of course. I want to talk about beginnings of scenes. The question you had is a great question. It's actually a little too far advanced. We'll get there.
I know. I mean, you know that I know. That's why I want to have a conversation
Right.
with you because
So-
maybe I can also
Right.
bring up some questions that an actor might have who's listening to this.
But we have
as
to go
we're going.
back. I'll tell you what to do, but we have to go back.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you. So your question was, what do you do instead of just waiting?
For action.
Right. There's no simple answer to that question. First of all, if there's some physical business or something you have to do, you might have to prepare for that physical business, but you might not be able to move until they say action.
Right. And in other words, in this particular scene, you have to run across the room and grab your keys and then run back towards the door.
There's too many possibilities. So I can't answer that question, what do you do while waiting? Because
It's going to depend.
how long are you waiting?
It's always going to depend. It's always going to depend on the specifics. But how do you prepare?
You have to start in your breakdown. The script and scene breakdown is where everything really begins. The script and scene breakdown. So we'll discuss the script and scene breakdown in great depth at another time. So one of the things that go on in script breakdown is you prepare each scene for the next day.
Right.
Or you can even do more preparation on the day of. Because scripts are numbered, scenes are numbered in scripts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up until 200, 300. Excuse me. Because scripts are numbered like that. And then it's shot out of sequence, generally, almost always.
Right. So on a Tuesday, you might be shooting scene 32, scene 38, and scene 65.
Correct.
You've got
Yes.
3 scenes to shoot, and they might be out of order. You might shoot
And on
65
Wednesday,
first.
you could be shooting scene 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right, totally. Just
Backwards.
Right.
So each scene starts where the writer has made a decision that she feels would be the best place to start.
Yeah.
Now, in post-production, they can easily change that. Mm-hmm. Do you understand that, Mark?
Yeah.
Right. If you don't understand anything, Mark, make sure to say something. So, you know
Will
what
do,
I mean?
yeah.
They
Because
can,
Kay understands everything. It's like, she understands it perfectly. You know?
Yeah, I'll
love to say
interject
that.
as necessary.
Yes. Well, it's an interesting thing that you said because a lot of times people will be surprised. They'll read a screenplay of a movie that they haven't seen, and then they'll watch the movie, or vice versa, meaning they've seen the movie and then they read the screenplay and they go, oh, in the movie, the scene starts in the middle of this written scene. Now, that's probably because they shot the full scene and then in the editing room decided that they didn't need the first half of the scene.
Yes.
And so they just cut into it because they saved time and it wasn't necessary to tell the story.
Yes. And many times, of course, it's very upsetting when you're an actor and you see the thing for the first time and you realize, well, I had a scene there and they only put my toe in.
I know.
Because I'm dead
I know.
at the end of
the
it.
Kevin Costner story on The Big Chill.
So it can be disturbing, you know.
I know.
Ellen Jameson, that's a shout out for you right now, Ellen Jameson, because she had that once.
Yeah, when we first we were becoming
SWAT.
friends. No.
SWAT, no?
No. It was on SEAL Team.
SEAL Team, right?
Yes, she was supposed to have quite an arc on SEAL Team, and then
Cut it almost all out.
They reduced a lot of. I know it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time,
And she's
you got to get comfortable with
stunningly
it.
brilliant actress.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with her. They told her straight out.
Right.
Listen, this is not a reflection of you. We have decided to change the episode, the focal point of the episode, and therefore this story, which went from the primary story of the episode, has now been moved to a secondary
The
story.
good news is she got paid and she gets residuals forever. And that's why they're on strike to
Yeah.
continue the residuals.
I know, you get paid the same. So.
And that's the thing too about filmmaking is that, yes, you have a great script based on the restrictions of whatever the budget is or how
Yep.
many days or all those things. Like you can come in as prepared as you want, but if you don't have the money or the time, you have
Yeah.
to make a great film under these restrictions.
Yep.
And they're not going to be like, well, I don't want that actor to feel bad because we didn't put that in. If they couldn't shoot it or whatever the case, they're trying to make the best piece possible based on what they have or
That's
what they
right.
created throughout the whole process.
That's right. That's right.
It's so not personal.
Right.
Occasionally it is, but the vast majority of the time it is not personal.
Even if it is personal, you can't take it personal. So
Yeah,
you
totally.
you cannot.
You nailed it. Yeah, that's it.
The thing is called the moment before, and the moment before it means beginnings. It means the moment before you begin living in the imaginary world of the script.
Yeah.
So when they say action, you already want to be living in the imaginary world of the script.
Right. You don't want to wait for action to start living, in other
Right.
words.
There's something, a moment so that you're living.
I know.
So that when they say action, you already had that moment. If necessary, you can do the moment after they say action, which then would be something different.
Of
What do you mean,
course.
do the moment? This is what we're going to explain. What is that? What do you mean, do the moment? This is where it gets complicated.
I know.
And
Let me just tell you what I think most people think you're talking about, because a lot of people have heard of this idea before, but they misinterpret it and they think it's literally, well, what just happened right before this? Because that's pretty much what I hear every time.
all the time.
And they'll say, well, I think I just walked in here.
Right.
That's not a moment before. That's not. It's not that moment. It is, well, let's talk about what it is that we're supposed to be finding.
It's something that helps the actor become present as the camera is rolling. Now, there's the
Present in the imaginary world of the script.
That's very interesting. I have mixed feelings about
Oh, good.
that.
Yeah.
In other words, yes, present in the imagine. That's the strict definition.
Yes. All I'm saying is the difficulty is that when you're on set, sometimes you're having a conversation with the grip or whatever, the director and
or the
so,
actor.
And
the
so
other
you
actor.
are present in the moment.
Right.
You are present, but then you have to get yourself back into the imaginary world because,
Do you? Do you really?
I don't know. Let's talk about it. I'm interested.
Because there come as you work a lot.
Yeah.
And this is what is confusing because I've worked so much on film sets. And
Right.
I mean, ridiculous. Years and years, probably 5 years,
I know. You've spent so many times.
So what happens is, as the actor gets a lot of experience, I mean, a lot of experience. And this is one of the things that student actors don't understand.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a lot of experience. Or they have a lot of experience in stage.
Right.
The more experience you have doing film, it's so much easier to get yourself into the imaginary world. You don't have to do very much.
Totally.
Almost
I get
nothing.
what you're saying. Yes. It's really just a redirection of your attention.
That's perfect. A redirection of it's like getting on the bike and riding it.
Yeah. So
they say, action, get on the bike and ride it. You don't have to do this massive thing, check the brakes.
No. Totally. And I get exactly what you're saying now, because what I'm really trying to say is you do have to redirect your attention, though, because you can't be thinking about that text message that your wife just sent you, or,
No, we're thinking about,
You got to get present.
Yeah.
And maybe you are really present in that moment, and therefore it's not going to take more than a second.
So an example of something that can happen, but that will put you present, but has nothing to do with the scene.
Right.
And this is, we still haven't gotten to what it is.
No.
We're still doing what it's not.
Yes.
But let me finish this thought, and then we'll get to what it is.
Yeah.
So we all know you have craft service.
Right.
You got all kinds of shit at the craft service
Bananas.
table. Bananas and club soda
My
and
snack of
water
choice.
and
Yep.
soda.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and great, spectacular coffee, unless they're cheap motherfuckers. Then they got shit fucking coffee. Fuck those fucking production people that got cheap coffee. I just want to tell you right now, you should have great coffee. Everyone needs and wants great coffee. So
6 cups a day.
6
On the
cups
set?
a day.
on the set, I'm a 6 cup a day man.
I know.
Start the morning off with 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night.
Yeah.
Delicious. And a nice Danish. Come on.
I know.
Come on.
Yes.
A nice,
So
light
that's a good.
Danish.
Oh my God, Aaron.
Well,
Okay, your ideal
got me
set
going
will
on
have.
We
You
never-
did.
We never. The next episode we'll get to what the moment before is.
oh, the moment before. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, a bad moment before, but it's connected to the
Yeah,
Danish.
so right. You're at
and the
craft
coffee.
services. You're at
Yeah,
craft
you're
services.
Right. Delicious. You eat a little too much Danish, which
Yeah.
I've been known to do.
Yes.
And you have your coffee. And now, here you are. Now, I'm not in front of the camera anymore, in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes my actors eat it with me. And then you see them, and they go, action. They go, and they go,
Yeah, they have a little indigestion, right?
right,
Yes.
they have indigestion.
Yes.
Now they're going to have indigestion during the scene.
Yeah.
So the experienced actor works with that fucking indigestion in the scene. What are you going to do?
I know.
You can't hide it.
I know. Yes. Yes. It's the equivalent of ignoring the flies.
Yes.
You can't. You have to. You have to deal with what's happening right now. You can't just live in like total denial.
And they may be able to edit around it. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between the flies.
Right. Right.
Unless they really like it.
Right.
But you're going to have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with an actor who started farting on, he couldn't stop.
Wait, he actually just had that bad of gas. He couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, and
Like audible.
He tried to hold it in. Uh-huh. If you hold it in, you start getting...
Real painful.
You got to stop the take because you now got to double over from...
Oh,
you ever
that
have
bad?
that? Oh, yeah, it was that bad.
I mean, that's like he's sick now. Because it's one thing to be like, oh, I got to hold in a fart right now.
No, that's nothing. That's nothing.
But like you've got serious
I'm
gas.
a master fart holder.
I know.
I can like just dribble out so gently.
You
No
know
one
that we
even
were in a
knows.
relationship for like 10 years before he farted in front of me. I mean,
Well,
literally.
I was farting. I just was, you just let it. And so she never
I
knew.
just never knew. And then
And my
meanwhile, I
farts
was
always
farting all
smell
the time.
good to me. I don't know about my farts smell fantastic to me. Do you have a problem with your own? Don't they? Mine are delicious. I don't know about yours.
I don't feel that way about mine.
I don't feel that way about yours either. But mine, it's
Okay,
like
Eric.
So,
moment before.
So he had to let the farts out. He was holding it in for previous takes. He started farting on the set. Big.
Yeah.
Fucking, and then he was stopping and saying, I'm really sorry. I just have to let it go. One of the actors walked off the set. They got so angry. I said, this is bullshit. And
So, but then the
I don't know if
question
this is where, but okay. So
then what?
it's just a funny story.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't you like that story?
Yeah,
Mark?
it's
I mean,
nice.
okay. We can cut it out. But
I don't know
okay.
if it really has anything to do with moment before, though.
No, it has to do with what do you do when something starts happening to your body.
Yes, right.
You see?
And what you're really
And
talking
that you
about is
try
getting present.
Yes, because it is the most present. So literally, let me go to something not as humorous. I know I'm being stupid, but I don't think I'm being stupid. You start getting a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're on to something. You can ignore the headache.
Yeah.
You absolutely can ignore, or your neck starts to tense up, right? You can ignore it, or you can actually do it, use it. So as you say, oh, my head's hurting, and we're playing the scene, and as we're playing the scene, well, we haven't even started playing the scene yet. They say action, right?
Yeah.
And you say like, where were you yesterday? Whatever, and I start rubbing my neck as I'm doing right now because
Right.
my neck is actually bothering me. That's a perfect moment before.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, they could edit it away in another take because you're not going to do that in every take.
Mm-hmm.
And it's behavior.
So yes, and I love what you're saying because everybody thinks that the first thing that they have to worry about is their lines, but really it's behavior, it's living, it's we're constantly.
May I interrupt you?
Yes.
You never have to worry about your lines.
I know because everybody they give
They
you
have
your
a
lines.
person there
I know.
called the script supervisor,
Right.
and they have to worry about your lines.
Right.
And if there's something wrong, they'll fix it.
Right.
Right there, in the moment.
Yeah.
You'll say, like, what's the line? And they'll tell you the exact line. You can continue while the camera's rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves when you do that
Right.
because then you get the right line.
Right.
You never have to worry about your lines if you do the process that we teach you.
Right. Right. So you're totally, I mean, you and I totally agree and vibe on this. So then how is it that you find that moment?
Right.
Because I think for a lot of actors, especially as they're getting their career started, there's so much self-consciousness. Right. There's so much,
let me get into that.
Yeah.
Really deeply. Okay.
Yeah, because
really deeply.
it feels like
it has to go back to what is life. We're trying to create life.
I know. And
Our
then
goal is
therefore
we're
you
trying to
have to
create
get
life.
conscious. Yeah, like what
So
is
then
life?
the question is, before people think they know what life is,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know what life is. I'm trying to figure it out. But what I do know, this is that the past is not life.
Yeah.
The future is not life.
Mm-hmm.
We live in the eternal present.
We do.
Let me repeat that. So I'm not saying I know what life is, but I know, without question, that we live in the eternal present. Now, the past affects it, and the future affects the eternal present.
Mm-hmm. The anticipation of what the future will be will affect the present.
Not necessarily the anticipation.
I just mean
or
the dream of what that future is.
So if I start thinking as we're talking about dinner, my mouth might start watering and I'm going to speak differently.
Yes.
And I might, or I might get dry. But the point is, once you understand that our goal is to be in the present, live in the present, you wake up in the morning and become conscious.
Yep.
That's the beginning of your life. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
I know.
And then you might take naps, or you get knocked out because you hit your head.
Or you have surgery.
Or you drink too much and you black out.
Yeah. Every time you go unconscious, either because of...
Or you go to sleep.
Yeah, right. That's what sleep is, a form of unconsciousness, right?
So life is becoming conscious, because when you're unconscious in that youthful state, baby state, there's no consciousness. You become conscious for the rest of your life. You're conscious. You wake up, you're conscious. You go to sleep, you're conscious. Let's keep it simple. You wake up, you're conscious. You go to sleep, you're conscious. You wake up, you're conscious. You die. No more conscious. Yeah. I'm sorry. When you go to sleep, of course, you're unconscious. I'm sorry. Did I say you're conscious?
No, yeah, you said conscious. When you wake up, you're conscious. When you go to sleep, you're become unconscious.
Right. Unconscious.
Right. And then when you die...
Until you die.
It's eternal unconsciousness.
Permanent unconsciousness.
Yes, right.
Unless I don't want to get into the beliefs. But right now, let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
Permanent.
Well, I think what's interesting about the idea of like what a moment before is, this moment of presence, right?
We have to agree first on that.
Yeah.
If you don't agree that you wake up in the morning and that now you're just conscious, living, sleep. Right?
Yeah.
So what is script? A script, the writer says, we're going to start your consciousness at dinner. You're having dinner with your wife.
Parts, these certain sections.
But it doesn't deal with the whole day when you woke up. Conscious. Coffee. And then
work.
Dinner.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the script. And you have to see, like, well, what's this dinner about? Yes, dinner's about eating. We all know that. And that is called the activity. Eating.
Right.
The activity. So you might cut the steak, or another. It could be the event. The dinner is an anniversary dinner.
Right.
Yes. So that's now a special,
for 20 years.
Special dinner.
Yes.
We have the event, but it's still dinner.
Right.
At this dinner, I'm going to ask for a divorce. I've planned it, spoken to my lawyer. You don't have any idea. They say action. And now we have to decide what part of this dinner are we at first?
Did we just sit down?
We have to collaborate.
Right. Is there food already on the table? Are we midway through dinner? Are we finishing up? Are we about to clear the plates?
The prop people.
Right.
The set designer. The director.
Right.
The script people.
Right.
Everyone has to collaborate.
Did I show up late and you've already eaten dinner and now I just have full food in front of me and yours is empty?
Yes.
All of these things are storytelling. These details help us understand what's happening.
So you're only doing the work for your character.
Right.
So the scene begins. Let us make an assumption so we can all get on the same page here. The scene begins where the wife has everything set up.
Right.
She brings over the wine and pours it.
Is there food on the table or not?
Yes, food is on the table.
Okay.
And she sits down.
Right. So it's the beginning of the dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
No dialogue yet. And then they begin talking, right?
Right.
Let's look at the man for a second. How do I begin the scene? the director says action.
Mm-hmm.
So when the director says action, the actress walks in with the wine
Yeah. She walks in with a bottle of wine in her hand.
Everyone has agreed. That's where the actor, the male actor, the husband, is sitting there at the table.
Mm-hmm.
There are infinite things he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
He can be thinking anything. It is your choice as an actor. What will put me in the present here with this pain I'm going to have? Because anyone knows asking for a divorce,
Yeah.
even if you know it's going to make you the happiest man in the world.
Yeah, even if both parties are on board, by the way.
Right.
It's
going to be
painful.
horribly painful.
Yes.
This is going to be a really fucked up dinner.
Yes. They're going to need the wine.
So here's where I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache, you see. So here's where when he says action, and if I'm starting to get, I can actually rub my head, and it really worked for me, because what a fucking headache this dinner is going to be.
Yeah.
There's my moment before.
Right. Or maybe he's just looking at the food, meaning just a point of focus,
Yes.
and just thinking about how did we get here?
The moment before is a process with which to find a moment that will put yourself in the present so that you can just flow and live in the scene.
Right.
That's what the moment before is.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Right.
The better actor you become, the more experienced, the easier. The process gets so easy, you don't think about it anymore.
Right. It becomes an unconscious process.
Unless it's a very complicated thing.
Right.
So if the scene, I just worked on a movie called and I was on set. The actor is finally defeated.
Mm-hmm.
It's towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
And she believes that she's failed.
Right. It's over, in other words. There's no hope.
And hundreds of millions of people will die
Because
of
she
her.
failed.
Yes.
Right.
And she's broken. Her arm's broken. She's just physically destroyed as well as emotionally destroyed. This might not be in the film or not. I don't know, but they ripped this robot open that she is in.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just weeping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a horrible moment in her life.
Yeah, that's a challenging moment before. Because you have to go from like, okay, I'm living my life, I'm doing things. That's what I mean about like, how do you get into that imaginary world?
So difficult.
It's really, you have to change your
and then the scene,
point of attention.
Yes. You have, it's the lowest point in the character's life.
Mm-hmm.
So it therefore has to, in some manner, be the lowest point in the actor's life.
Yeah, you have to be able to take yourself there imaginatively.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The day was such a difficult day for the actress.
Yeah.
I mean, she was exhausted because she had to do take after take.
I know. Those are the days where you just are wrung out.
Right.
And there's no fixing it because emotionally you'll be exhausted. And you just have to take care of yourself.
Yes. What I usually tell the actor is do one or two for the master shot, one or two, but save it for the single and the close-up, because then you have it in every type of shot.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
so to do it, 50 times in every single shot is maybe not wise.
No, it's
because
actually
you will have nothing left by the time you get
bad
to the
technique.
close-up. Right, that's right.
It's inexperience.
Yeah. So what is the process?
So then the process is you have to examine what's been happening before the scene began.
Right.
Sometimes you only need a minute before the scene began.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need a day. Sometimes it's 3 days before.
In other words, what's been going on before this? In
Yeah.
other words, where have I been? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that might include like hours. It might literally just be the last 45 seconds. It's just going to depend on each individual.
It could be 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Your new girlfriend
Yes.
said,
Right.
gave you an ultimatum.
Right.
You either tell your wife you're getting a divorce,
Yes.
or I'm leaving and getting married to Herman.
Right.
Herman's my imaginary character, of she's
Right.
married.
Yeah,
He asked me to marry.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that was the moment
Mm-hmm.
when he had to make that decision, and he says in the scene, I'm going to tell her.
Right.
So now we're at the scene.
That deals specifically with
Him.
that moment from 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times in scripts, like you said, it just really depends. Sometimes it's literally like the phone just rang, so then you're literally just like, you're dealing with the phone just rang.
But the 2 days ago scene is not necessarily relevant for the moment before.
Right.
It informs it.
Yes.
It certainly gives it a structure.
It's more
of
like the
time.
given circumstances.
Yes,
Right.
that's right. That's right. But you have this environment around you, and it can be just a thought.
Yeah. So you ask yourself, what happened before this, right? Where have I been? What's been going on?
And remember that the actress is there too. You have the actress.
Yeah.
So it just came to me right now because I'm imagining it. The thought can be, oh my God, my wife looks so beautiful tonight.
Yeah.
That's the moment before that thought. What a crazy, fucked up thought. You're going to ask for a divorce, and you say, like, she fucking looks beautiful right now.
See, this is,
See, no
by
one
the
would
way,
think
I want
that.
to just point out
That's why
that
I'm bringing
this
it up.
is, Aaron and I have two very different brains. I am extremely linear, and Aaron is extremely circular. And so he goes around and around and around and around. And meanwhile, I'm like, so what's the process? I keep saying, so what is it? Tell it to me. And he's like going around, which is great. By the way, that's what's interesting about the two of us together is that I'm continually trying to go down the straight line, and you're doing circles that are going around.
You're more. It's a different process, but it's just as wonderful. You're a bit more on the nose than I am.
Right.
Because in my mind, that just came to me. Looking at my wife and saying, she's so beautiful, is like such a fucked up thing before I ask her to get a divorce.
But people still don't know how you got there.
I don't know how I got there. Just right now.
Well, it's about being present, being in there, and maybe looking at her and seeing what is there for you.
I can tell you, I just did it. I said 2 days ago,
Yes.
my girlfriend, I did it.
I know, but you still haven't described the thing that you're doing, which is, and
Well,
I'm
imagine.
going to hold
Go
on.
ahead. No, you can do it.
So there are 3 questions. The first is, where have I been? Right. The second is, where am I now? And so you have to think like, okay, I am here. I am present with my wife in our home having dinner. That is the present. And if you're not going to, you have to deal with both. And then the third one is,
What do I need?
What do I need?
I need to get it. I need to break this relationship.
Right.
Right here.
Right. So those 3 questions.
Not I need to eat dinner. That's what. I need to eat dinner. What are you, fucking paraplegic? You can't eat.
Right. Right. You
don't need to eat dinner. That's not your objective.
No, that is not the right. Of course. So those 3 questions will help you find.
Yes.
Oh my God, my wife
moment.
looks so beautiful right now.
Yes. I did it without thinking about it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like
What would you do as the moment before? Like, what would be your moment? So as the wife.
Oh, okay. So in this scenario.
Yeah, you're bringing the wine.
Right.
You
I'm bringing the wine in.
We know you don't know. It's written in the script. You don't know that I want a divorce. You know that there's problems in our relationship, but not enough to get
Well,
a
it would
divorce.
depend if, if I'm the actor, then I might actually, so say, for
Well,
example.
let's just do one.
Okay, great. So then how about this? I suddenly realize, like, I'm a little bit nervous right now. And then I go, like, wait, why am I nervous? I'm just having dinner. In other words, I become conscious of, why am I nervous?
But are you nervous?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to depend on the if
going
I'm
on.
on set shooting and all of a sudden I realize, like, I'm a little bit nervous right now to shoot this scene.
Great.
Instead of saying I'm going to stop being nervous, stop being nervous,
No,
right?
terrible, right.
Don't be nervous. No, I'm going to say, like, I am actually nervous to shoot this scene, so I'm going to use that nervousness and say, why am I nervous? I'm just having dinner with my husband.
That's wonderful.
Why do I feel nervous right now? Why is that happening? In other words, I would just use it.
Using what you got or what you have when you're shooting is the most, it's just wonderful because it makes it easier.
Right.
It's
What
a
would you
gift.
do, Mark?
It's a gift.
Right.
I would.
If you're the husband.
If I'm the husband, I could do something where looking at maybe my phone to see what time it is real quick.
See, that's excellent. All these, everyone will come up. You'll come up with different things.
I know.
But the phone thing, as you said, Mark, now would involve a much more complicated scenario because
You
might
gotta
not
have a
even
prop
have
phone.
yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
a prop.
Gotta have
You
a prop phone.
a prop phone. See, so now
No, it's not impossible. You can definitely have that, but then
now
right.
because are they going to use an Apple phone or these now gets very complicated. What's on the screen of the phone?
Right.
they might have to do an insert shot.
Yeah, you see.
So maybe a watch type of situation or something, depending on what I have. I
Totally.
said phone because I have a phone on me right now. And
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
It works. In other words,
it's more complicated, is all we're saying.
yes,
yeah.
right. It totally works. It's so say I'm not.
It also
say
changes the lighting.
Right.
I know it's hard to believe because
Say-
if you the lighting now, it's so. I would encourage my actors not to use the phone unless they really felt strong on it. Then
So,
they
for
would. 'Cause
example-
then you have to tell the director. You
Right,
have
right.
to.
Right. Maybe in the script it says he gets a text message from the woman he's having an affair
Yes.
with. Then all of a
Then
sudden,
the
now
phone-
it's in the script,
The script gives you the moment before.
Right.
Sometimes it does. Now, say I wasn't nervous. Say there was no nerves naturally happening. Then I might wonder if I made the dinner that he likes.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a nice thought. Yeah.
Or something as simple as pressing my lips together to make sure my lipstick is even.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Because maybe I want to look great. So
Yeah. So we're always looking for something simple that connects with us. And that's why it's called the moment before. Because the mistake that inexperienced actors make is they're thinking it's more than a moment.
yeah.
They're thinking it's the hour before. And they start preparing an hour before.
Right.
Sometimes you might have to do preparation. Certainly that takes time. But generally you don't. We're looking, that's why it's called the moment before, not the hour before, not the minute before.
So interesting because when we're unconscious, we have no problem with behavior. It just happens so easily. We brush our forehead or we blink for a second or we
Lick our lips.
yes, or we smell our breath because suddenly we realize we haven't eaten anything and our breath is sour. Like, in other words, behavior happens so regularly, but the difficulty is when the camera gets on you, suddenly you're like, uh-oh, I'm supposed to be living as the character. And it's like, no, just keep living. That's what's so hard.
You're never supposed to be living as the character.
I know, but I got to be living as the character.
That's another mistake when we talk more about character.
I know.
No, we are now living as our characters. When they're shooting, you're you. Mm-hmm. But what if you're the Hunchback of Notre Dame, dude? Are you?
Well, then you better have done a lot of character work before you got to set, because being on set is not the time to do character work.
Sanctuary. Sanctuary. Well, if you're the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you've practiced.
That might be one of my favorite impersonations of yours. Charles Lautner.
That's Charles. No, not Lawton.
Lawton.
Charles Lawton.
Lawton, sorry.
Yeah, Charles. No, because Charles Lautner will make everyone think it's what's his name, Lautner, Taylor Lautner.
What's
her name's
Taylor
boyfriend?
Lautner. Yes.
Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend.
Wow, I can't believe you know that.
Oh, I'm up.
How do you know that? I mean, I scarcely know that. I mean,
Did you go to the Eras tour?
I coached Taylor Lautner. No one.
I know you
often
did. You worked
put
with
it
Taylor Lautner, yeah.
in my resume.
Right. Yes, but I don't think yes. No, we didn't go to the Eras tour.
That's Taylor's current tour that's going on right now.
I know.
Did you go?
I didn't.
I heard it was I heard that it was exceptionally well planned and long, meaning like that they really, like you got your money's worth. Like she did like a 4-hour concert.
Taylor, if you're listening, listen, if you need some coaching, I'm available. And let me tell you, it'll help you.
I don't think she's really acting though. She's done like
I
little bit
saw
roles.
I saw her act.
Oh, in what?
Well, she did like Valentine's Day or something.
She's done a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Very talented.
things.
Yeah, no, I mean, she is hugely talented.
Beautiful. Could use some help in terms of technique and process.
Sure. How many people couldn't use some help?
Quite a few. Denzel doesn't need any help.
No, I know.
Will Smith doesn't need any help.
Not anymore. No,
they
he's
don't need
doing
any
great.
help. They're all
He is
brilliant,
doing
man.
just fine.
I'd like to help certain people. I'd like to get a call from Robert De Niro saying I don't know, just this character is just confusing me. Could you give me a call? I would give him a call.
I have to say, that is when you get on set and, you get the opportunity to watch really great actors. You really just watch them do it, and it feels so seamless that you don't even know what you're watching until you have a trained eye.
Until you see it in the editing room.
That's what I'm saying, though, is you're sitting there and you're watching the monitors, which, I did on 6 productions with you, and then plus the other things that I worked on. You watch great actors and it looks effortless. They are just living before action. They find a way to live before action.
When I'm on set working with great actors, where I'm not working with them, I'm just on set with them and I'm watching them.
Which you did with Charlize Theron. There's so many actors that you worked with that on set with.
So it's ridiculous, so many. And the great, brilliant directors also. I learned that's how I learned. Mm-hmm. In addition to learning my own stuff, it was school. It still is school for me.
Right.
Still is. Because the technology makes you learn new stuff.
I know.
Blue screen.
Yeah.
It's whoa, so much new stuff to learn.
Yeah, blue screen is particularly difficult in terms of moment before because there may be massive amounts of things that you have to imagine. They're not even there with you.
Sometimes nothing to imagine. Here's the thing, and this is strictly because they don't know yet.
Yeah, I know
what it's going to be. I've been on set. They don't know what it's going to be
because they're gonna fill it in post production.
They say it's an alien world. No, I was on set. What's
an alien world?
And
what does it look like?
Sometimes they'll show you a picture. Really? They use
a rendering.
A rendering. It has no meaning. So you just have to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Start with nothing.
Right.
And many times now in these green screen things, the director must give you directions while they're shooting. Mm-hmm. Because of technical aspects, which they never used to do. So the director, as you're shooting, you're going to have to look to your right now. A little bit more, right there. Yes. Now look down and look up, and now you can look back. You have no idea what they made you look at. Nothing. This is new. This is new in acting. I'm telling you new things that now that I was exposed to it, and it was I just learned something new. I gotta share this.
I know, but you're not going to get to that point You will not get to that point unless you could do a moment before.
That's right.
You gotta earn the right to be
That's
told, turn to the left, look up, now look down.
Right.
You do. I mean, there's no other way. You don't just go from
unless you're in a Wookiee suit. A Wookiee suit?
A Wookiee.
Wookiee? A
It's
Wookiee?
not Wookiee.
It's not
Wookiee. Wookiee.
Oh, shit. A Wookiee suit.
Wookiee.
Yeah, you're in an 8-foot Wookiee suit.
Yes.
And then don't worry about your acting so much. Let's keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Don't hire an acting coach. You don't,
Yeah. Most of the people who do that kind of that's not a good.
Wait.
That is not a good.
Here's
Wookiee.
the good news on that.
That's bad.
It's done in post-production. See? Everyone
What does he do?
thinks the Wookiee sound
Yeah.
is made.
Yes.
Wrong. It's a great Wookiee sound. They did a really good
dub
Wookiee
in a much better version of that
Hold on a second.
for when he does it? Because
No.
that was,
Can you do it again? One more time. There you go.
Post-production.
That was
Post-production.
that was actually in production.
Yeah. One story made me realize we were shooting a project I was writing and directing, and as far as like staying present and using what you have, right?
Yeah,
So we had missed something the day before, so we had to get up early and shoot some stuff the next day.
Yeah.
And so we shot it, and we still had like 30 minutes before the rest of the people were coming.
Yeah.
So I took the lead actor, and we just started shooting some B-roll stuff that we just might need.
Right.
And because of some of the restrictions in the project in post-production, those shots that we got in that 30 minutes saved everything and informed like the actual script that I wrote since then dramatically, because it was a mistake that we had to fix, but then I used this and it became the whole artistic direction on it.
Yeah. You take those opportunities and like you just said, it's like you don't know what you're going to end up with in the editing
Saving it, they call that saving it in editing, because the editing process is without question as important as everything or anything that you'll ever do in filmmaking. Most people just don't put it together.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me about a time where you were on a project and you were just sort of sitting by the side of the road and they got this footage of you? Gosh, was it you or somebody else? Was it on The Last Convertible or something where you were just... No, I know who it was. Anyway,
me,
they basically had a role. It was a nice role, meaning like it was a couple days work, and they had but because
B-roll.
he actually had a principal role, but they shot some B-roll during a moment in time where production wasn't really happening. They just caught him sitting by the side of the road, and he was like a young soldier, and they shot him just sitting there, just being present, just having thoughts, and it totally changed. They used it in one of those like sort of establishing shots that set the entire tone.
Yeah, the mood
and
of
then
the
he
scene.
got more screen time because he understood that his job was just to be present and real, and it saved that portion of the shoot because they had this piece of him just thinking, just lost in thought.
It can be very powerful. Shall we review?
Yeah.
Shall we review
Oh,
the
look, he
moment
brought it
before?
back.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
He
Right.
always brings it back. That's your magic. You always bring it back.
Thank you. So the definition of moment before is literally the moment before a scene begins for the actor. Making yourself present in the moment before the scene begins.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's great. The one that I always say, and you can, I would love for you to add to it or correct it, but I always say a repeatable bit of action, behavior, or a thought that helps you get present at the beginning of a scene.
And that's great. That's perfect. It doesn't have to be repeatable, though.
Yeah.
Because you can come up with new ones that's but so this is a little more complicated, but that's great. So what it involves is examining the facts given in the script of where have I been, which sometimes is not given in the script.
Sometimes it just requires
imagination.
Yeah.
That's the past. Where am I now? That's the present.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing I need to get in the scene that should propel you into living in the scene? I like that word, propel, but it might be too active.
I always say that the purpose of a moment before is creating the illusion of continuous life.
Love it. Love that.
It's, because we're always living.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a long time. Creating the illusion of continuous life.
Because you have to start over again each time. And so every time you say cut, you got to go back to the beginning. So we got to create the illusion that you have continuously been living.
Yes. Which in acting, you're not.
Right.
In the imagination.
Because we're going to do the scene
40 times.
Yeah.
10 times.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I don't think we need to do anything more on beginnings at the moment.
No. I mean, I think it's so interesting because as an actor, there was so much that I understood subconsciously because you do it long enough and you're just like, oh, I'm just doing this thing. And then now as a teacher, I've had to consciously learn what was unconscious. And so now as I continue to teach this, I'm learning how better to communicate what this is and how to do it. And that's what it's so fun for me to unpeel the layers of what is it that you're doing? Because doing it is one thing, but explaining how to do it is another entire thing,
Your explanation is excellent. I mean, it's fantastic.
So, are we going to get divorced?
Well, in the script it says you're pregnant, so we'll find out.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's funny.
Well, this is great. Okay, so just like and subscribe, guys. This is our episode on beginnings of scenes. It's been a real pleasure to hang out and talk about acting.
Why don't you rate our podcast on the different platforms? That would be helpful to us. We're trying to help a lot of people, and the more people that find out about us, the better.
We don't always know what's interesting to you guys. We know what's interesting to us, but we want to hear what's interesting to you. And if you have any questions about the topics that we cover, please comment. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you're digging, what you're confused about, if you have any thoughts.
Topics that you want us to cover.
Yes, we want to hear from you. And the only way we know, because we can't read your minds,
questions.
Is by you commenting.
Yes. We'll answer your questions.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
We can do even a question and answer session. That'll be really fun, Mark.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun.
Yeah, let's do that next time. Maybe we'll even put out something on Instagram.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do that.
Get people to call in eventually.
Oh,
yeah. I want to hear. I want to hear from people.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good night.
Good night.